Hi, everyone. Welcome to another season one story. As you all know by now, this is an opportunity for us to give our incredible season one members more visibility, tell some amazing stories about who they are, where they've been, where their passion for sport and football has come from. So, yeah, we're here with our third. Yes, we're here with our third season one story. And I'd like to welcome our incredible season one member, Agi. Welcome. How are you?
Great and yourself. Thank you so much, Matt.
Yes, all good. How are things where you are?
Things are good. In the obviously in the season of connecting, and that's why we get to have these calls. But yeah, I think more so. I am a student now, and I finish, if I could say, in 30 days. So there's a bit of a crunch time there. Whoop whoop. And yeah, I feel like I'm in a good space in terms of being an athlete, mentally, but also physically. I feel really strong right now. I'm also growing into my body as well. And then another aspect of myself is just kind of keeping up with what's happening in sports and trying to become a disruptor and develop that leader and that entrepreneurial mindset, just to see where these gaps in the market. So that's probably what I keep myself busy with 90% of the time outside of being a student and an athlete. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. That was going to be my first question. I guess take that and give us a little introduction about yourself. Like, where are you from, and how did you get into the whole world of sport and football and curiosity?
So I am based in Johannesburg, South Africa, born and bred. And yeah, I think for me, being in this city has kind of made me the individual that I am today. I was raised by a single mother. And I think I've gone through a lot of trials and tribulations. And I think I'm a story of overcoming adversity as well. But I've also had a lot of fun as a young student, if I could say. I enjoyed high school. I think I grew a lot in terms of like friendships and as an athlete and just really enjoying life and being just curious about life and just being true to who I am as an individual. And yeah, so I played pretty much every sport that the school had to offer. I could have played cricket, but didn't have the time. Yeah. And I think as time went by, I had to kind of cut down sports. And so then I specialized or took like field hockey more seriously in terms of my schedule. And that was the scholarship that I was on in high school. And then that seeped into university. And yeah, so I think university was tough time for me, mentally more so. I got an injury. And then being a student athlete in that environment was quite tough. So yeah, I think I learned a lot about being empathetic to what the mind can do to an individual if they're not in a good space. So it affects everything from your interpersonal relations to how you see yourself. And yeah, I'm glad that I went through those experiences, but it was a really tough time. And yeah, I think I final year of university, I was studying interior architecture. I caught COVID, and so that was a tough time. And so I had to stop playing hockey then as well and to focus on my studies. And so, yeah, I think, yeah, that's another moment in time that shift to how I thought about the world, how I thought about myself. But still, the athlete never dies. And I think you can relate as well. And yeah, I think in that time, I decided, after I complete my degree, I'm going to take a gap year to focus on probably my one and true love is tennis. And so, yeah, I put 100% of my time in that. I had the freedom to take it on full time. So that first year, I got my fitness up more so. And then I kept dreaming about, well, like, how could I elevate myself? And then I took a risk and signed up for an academy in France. So I spent, 9 months there playing tennis. So yeah, that was a big moment for me just to obviously experience another country, be alone more so to challenge my athletic ability at a high performance level in a different sporting code. So yeah, I think also another tough time because I think to do an individual sport alone with no family in a new country, yeah, there's just too many variables that you could say somewhat kind of work against you. So yeah, I spent 9 months there, great opportunity. And then I had to come back home, obviously, for like financial reasons. And I think for me, since then, I'm still trying to get my self back onto the court with enough financial backing to make sure that the dream is still alive. So I think for me, that's probably my primary mental battle is, do I give up or do I keep going, but not knowing where that moment in time will give, in terms of like luck. Because for me, I'm going to hang it on luck that's going to make me get to my dream. Because I think the hard work and the ethic is there. It's just that Hail Mary, I guess. Yeah, and that's pretty much where I am as an athlete. And then as a student, yeah, I don't know how I really became a student. It's somewhat just filtered in because I was just curious about what was happening in the world of sports. And this was a time post COVID. Sports across the board, men's and women's, was flourishing. There's a whole lot of like ethical changes, integration of um, other individuals, change of leadership. And so I just thought maybe this is a world that I can kind of get into more on a theory based rather than being an athlete, understand the business side, the marketing side. Yeah. And so I think for me, I really wanted at the end of the day to impact individuals. I'm a people person. I enjoy community. I enjoy collaboration. And so, yeah, I feel like that student aspect, came about. And so now I'm a student through the Global Institute of Sports based in London. So yeah, I've now suddenly entered into the UK market. And this is also another reason why I've kind of landed in season one as well, just kind of poking and talking to so many people. And yeah, that kind of red string has kind of led me to where we are today.
Amazing. I'm tired hearing all about your amazing athletic and academic. I mean, we've spoken a lot. We've spoken a few times since we first connected. What strikes me very much is there's like seems to be an unrelenting curiosity in one hand, which I think leads you kind of down the academic path, reaching out to me and us at season one and being such a great part of the community. And then in the other hand, this like, which I can really relate to, this competitive curiosity, right? You say they're around like having this decision about whether you kind of, give up the dream or continue to take it on and let luck do its thing.
Mm.
I can resonate very much with this competitive nature. With both of those things, I mean, it's such a rare thing, the curiosity and the competitiveness. Where do you get that from? Is that something that's kind of like self-starting, or is that kind of been a product of your environments, your upbringing? Like, how have you come to get these two great qualities?
I mean, I think I was brought up in an environment where my mother is a seasoned marathon runner. And then my grandpa as well. So he's run a lot of ultra marathons and very much so disciplined. And then they're also very much so academics as well, but also academics of the also important things in life, the mind, collaboration with individuals, and then also taking care of your health. And then also just having thought provoking conversations. I've always been challenged mentally to dream beyond my near context. And also I never really thought that the world was small. I mean, big. So that, going overseas never felt like something big to do. I just thought it was inevitable. It was just more about timing. But then, like, on my own, I think it's my anchor every day is more of like wanting to become a better individual. So I never really had pressure to become a top athlete or be a top student. It's just more of like self pressure, but I always knew that, I needed to take myself seriously in either context. So don't waste your time, but don't like no one put pressure on me as well. So, but it is my greatest weakness and also my biggest strength as well. So, it's something that I have to kind of make sure that I have a good balance with, which I never really feel like I ever have. Is more of all or nothing.
It's an interesting thing that you bring up there, and we talk a lot about this, especially around self-development within season one, and some of the work that we do, especially Jake, is identifying your strengths is obviously very, very important, but then understanding that actually these strengths overplayed often become weaknesses, as you've kind of called them there. So, like for example, my probably unwavering strength is being able to talk passionately about a subject. But if I don't watch out and actually find where that kind of tipping point is, I can very quickly turn into just talking too much, which then can alienate other people and kind of like,
Yeah.
deconstruct a good conversation. So that comes from learning and identifying those things. And again, it's such an important I think an important acknowledgement and reflection for people to have is to go like, I'm really good at this thing, but if I do it too much, it can often become a weakness. And
Yeah.
you said there this kind of this all or nothing mindset, which is so common with competitive people and something that they often reach to, right? I'm either completely on or completely off. And something that I used to do, just a quick story that comes from my past working in strength and conditioning and performance with people. Um, that used to be regular, right? A high net worth individual, business owner, or a media personality would come and go, "Hey, I'm all or nothing. I'm either all on or all off." And actually trying to teach context and perspective to people like that and go, "That's cool, but we have to look at this kind of as a continuum rather than an absolute." So it's not black and white. It's not always on, always off. It's cool. You've got, let's say, the black is like 100% compliance, right? We're doing everything like super, 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 super tight. Everything's
Yeah.
perfect. And often people hold themselves to those standards, but so rarely do those standards actually get met, right? For any particular length of time that's
Mm,
meaningful. And what happens is when we don't meet those standards, we then go all the way to zero
mm,
because we can't hold our standards there, and actually saying, cool, how can we create a continuum from, whatever our goal is, in our case it was, getting people in great shape or whatever is going, how can we go from like 75% to 95% and go,
mm,
what variable context sits between the 75% and the 95%? When can you be there and when you can be when do you need to kind of drop back a little bit and make some changes? All of those things will allow you to continue to make progress so that you're not stuck in this like absolute, right, which we find really difficult to do. You can still hold good standards, but have some leeway there for like a bit of different context and perspective. So
right.
maybe that's just a nice, for you to take away and kind of go, okay, cool, right, I'm on, I'm off. I need to kind of not be all the way on and not be all the way off.
Yeah.
It's really, really interesting. So talk to me a bit about like the future. Like you've got so much going on. You've got the athletic pieces there, the tennis, kind of the gap year, and pursuing that. You've got the academic bit and all of the wonderful work and curiosity and connections that you're making. What's the goal for Aggie? What's the goal for you? Like, where do you kind of see yourself 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the line? Is that something you thought about? Is there kind of a direction for you?
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that question because it's very much so coming up now. I really don't know what my next year is going to look like, but I do know my end kind of goal. Let's say like 5 years. I think I would really love to be at a position where I'm playing on tour, tennis and at a high level and continuously, and that I'm healthy mentally and emotionally. And by then I probably would have, or I would have finished my degree. And for me, I'm also kind of using tennis to find more contacts, to find more people. So as much as yes, I will become the vessel that gets to play the sport, but for me, my biggest goal is to kind of get into the rooms. Otherwise, that an individual can't get into if they're not playing. That player connection, that in the boardroom, players association. Those type of things. I foresee myself being a leader in the space of sports and not any specific sporting code. I really want to bring people together as well. And I feel like the job that I want needs to be created by myself. There isn't a really job description out there that I think suits me. So like if I were to put my ego out there, I feel like I need to kind of draw what that kind of mind map or that dream job looks like. Because I don't feel like anything really clicks. Like I love journalism, I love media, I want to be an athlete. And I feel like I can do them all at the same time. I just need to find the right people to do it with as well. Um,
It's such a wonderful attitude, Aggie, to have. Like, and I think when you are younger is really experimenting and testing and learning and getting yourself out into the world and going, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know where I want to be, but I have these strengths and I have these curiosities and I want to go and explore those. And I think again, it's people often kind of put pressure on themselves to go, cool, here's the narrow direction, here's the path that I want to go down. And I think often that can come from university, right? Is doing a university course, investing the money to then get the degree to go, I have to take that course. I have to
Mm,
take that route, because I've invested so much time and finance into that. So actually this emotional investment, again, I think is really admirable. And I think it's nice to kind of you know, listen to that and chase
mm,
it and go, cool, I'm going to find myself in different places. And you inevitably at some point find the thing, right? That you
yeah,
go, yeah, this is going to be me for a little while. So I love that. That's really admirable. So I want to ask you questions specifically about football because I know
yeah.
we obviously talk about it. Season one is very much a football platform. This is something we ask all of our guests, and I want to ask you guys as well because at the end of the day, our members, you guys, are going to be the people who are occupying football and sport in the future. And how you think, what you implement, how you build, and how you create is going to shape that. So, if we were to start football again, clean slate, completely blank, brand new, and you had the opportunity to implement one thing into football, what would it be and why?
I think the one thing I would implement is rolling subs for sure. I think why I say rolling subs, because if we're going to go from like the timeline from 0 to 100, it will help support that not maybe like five players are getting all the revenue gain or the resources as well, so that there's shared distribution. And obviously, there'll be a star or a group of individuals that will stick their neck out and be, ambassadors for certain brands or certain causes as well. I think rolling subs allows for high intensity, it allows for drama, it allows for late redemption, and redemption can happen within the 90 minutes. It doesn't have to happen in a second leg match or the next coming derby or the next match as well. Yeah, I think for me it's high stakes and it allows for betting to become more exciting. Because if a player goes on and off and changes things, I think even the man of the match has to be someone who stays on for the night for majority of the 90 minutes. Whereas the man of the match could be quite a volatile individual, the super sub, the individual that probably comes on probably like 3 minutes on, 3 minutes off because they probably don't do very well with the endurance side of the game. And it allows for other athletic strength to come to the table as well. So I think for me, if I'm looking it up from the business side, it's quite exciting. And then from the athletic performance, it also allows for rehabilitation to come in, welfare is taken care of. Um, yeah, and then it irons out the cracks that if you see in the game right now seem quite permanent. This one kind of erases a lot of precedents that have come out from just having how many subs do we have? Like five plus the
Mm.
concussion. So yeah.
It's interesting. I think this topic of squad rotation and substitutions I think will become more prevalent probably over the next 2 or 3 seasons. We actually did a really great season one session with Felipe Tobar, and he does a lot of football science research. And his latest piece is all around specifically how VR can help players with their scanning, improving their scanning on pitch, and how it compares to like real life. But we were talking, and what they're finding is actually that players become mentally more fatigued about 10 to 15 minutes before they become physically fatigued. So if you can create an environment where you identify that mental fatigue, right, there's a rotation piece to have there. And then
Yeah.
your words there, it's rolling subs. But my question then is, I think we're reaching this kind of physical peak, right? Especially in the men's game. I think the women's game have different considerations and they're working with those, especially around mental cycles, around ACL injuries. But I think definitely with the men's game in the schedule, we're reaching like this physical peak that
Mm.
yes, they've got all the help, all the rehab, all of the teams around them to help them recover, but we're still getting more serious injuries, longer layoffs for players, right? For hamstring injuries and things like that. So actually, what do we do? what do we do? Once we've hit physical peak, we have to start working with this kind of brain body connection. And then we have to work with rotations and, enforced rotations. So that could be, like you said, could be great, could be rolling subs, could be, squad rotation. You have to play all of the players in your 30-man squad for at least 10 games a season,
Exactly.
and to see how that works. So it's super, super interesting. We've talked a lot about your curiosity, competitiveness, what you'd like to see in football. What are the big challenges that you face at the minute, Aggie, that kind of maybe hold you back? Maybe, yeah, you're kind of seeing as you're moving through your academic and your athletic experience at the minute.
I think for me is access to live sporting games from a variety of sporting codes. Maybe let's say from the women's perspective. Yeah, I think for me, I've done a lot of the intangible research of what the game needs and what it looks like, more so from the northern hemisphere perspective and then the southern hemisphere. But then I think being able to be or experience a match day experience is a different ball game. The concession stands to apparel to even like ablutions, like how does the queue look like? Am I going to miss the start of the second half because they haven't put provision for certain things and um, stuff like that, or like match day experience? I can't really speak on that because I don't really get to experience much of it as well. So I think for me, that's my one kind of thing I wish I could have more of a voice in is experiencing it. Like, let's say, like, if the women's AFCON were to come to South Africa now that it's been cancelled and moved to August, I mean, I think I would selfishly be so happy because then now I get to document these stories more face to face in 3D, not so much from a screen and paper and have to scrutinize it and speak to my lecturers. Like, what do you think of these perspectives? I can really go see it for myself. And yeah, just experiencing the Euros. I think being able to travel from the UK to Switzerland, having that ease, or being able to go to the Winter Olympics in Italy would have been a great experience. Yeah, I mean, even Australia now was quite far to go experience the Asian Cup, the Women's Asian Cups. Yeah, for me, I'm more wanting to experience because I think I've taken in a lot of theory. I feel a lot of FOMO in that regard.
So what we're saying is we want more big sporting events in South Africa. That's what we're saying. I love that. Um, Amazing. So, last question from me, Aggie. Um, Obviously, you've been a member of season one for a little while now, which we absolutely love, and you've been so great with us, in the community. Have there been any big takeaways from being a part of season one? How has it helped you, go through this kind of particular part of your journey?
I think for me is that I always have ideas, and some can be executed now, and some probably can be delayed. I think for me, it's that if I have an idea, I can always ask for help, and that there are people that I can collaborate to get it done. And so now I'm working on a pitch deck, and then I can, collaborate with people who are a lot more skillful in graphic and design or more knowledgeable about a storyline that I could kind of maybe enhance or elevate more. So I'm not really having to work in isolation. So that's what I think season one has done for me, and more so supplemented my university world that I've created. Yeah, I feel like I have more resources to leverage off, new people to talk to, new mentors. Yeah, I think for me, having more like access to more knowledge is like the biggest game changer more than anything, because that means my my final report is more enriched because I have two more precedents that I've gotten from a discussion or someone's kind of findings as well. So yeah, I think that there's just security in community. I think yeah.
Lovely, amazing. Well, Aggie, look, we could talk forever, and we're gonna do more of this because I think there's so much richness, you know, from you to me, and also to the community as well. But this is a great introduction for people who don't know you. We will also obviously add all of your social media connectors where people can find you and connect with you, both in season one, obviously, and outside. But for now, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much, Match. I enjoyed this conversation.